let's have a little history lesson about the C-Kohaku wiki page. June 2022. The Kohaku page is graced with a pros and cons section that has 3 cons: dash startup, defense, and high execution. Kohaku does indeed have higher dash startup than most characters have. Her defensive game is weaker than average for a C-Moon, and while you could argue that the high execution isn't a con, Kohaku does uniquely tend to get punished with a combo if she drops her more optimal routes. While you could argue that these cons aren't perfect, they make sense and they're pretty agreeable. December 2022, about 6 months later, and someone decides that her cons page needs some editing done to it. They remove the con about dash startup and rename the con about defense to say no reversals, which is weird because her having subpar defense wasn't really a very controversial opinion, but saying she has no reversals is blatantly false. Why change her perfectly reasonable con just to make it say something that's objectively false? This was the beginning of the downfall of the C-Kohaku wiki. January 2023, a month later, and the con about her high execution is removed entirely. While there are legitimate arguments for high execution not being a real con, all that she's left with now is the blatantly false con of no reversal. I say that the con stating she has no reversals is false because by the definition of a reversal, it's just a move that you do out of block stun or on wake up. Everyone can reversal, but not everyone has good reversal options, and Kohaku actually does have weaker reversal options than the average Melty Blood character. However, she still has reversal options. No reversals is not a true statement. February 2023, and the removal of the cons on the Kohaku page has reached its final stage. Kohaku has no weaknesses! What is going on in the Kohaku kingdom, you might be asking? Well, every one of these changes was done by literally one guy. This one guy seems to be having a schizophrenic meltdown with himself and keeps changing the cons just to end up removing them entirely shortly after. Nobody knows what demons this poor Kohaku wiki scribe was facing at this point in time, but I think we can all infer that they were mighty powerful ones indeed. May 2023, about 3 months later, a new con is finally added: Anti-Air Shield, stating that Kohaku has bad options against being shielded while she's airborne. This is the start of the Kohaku player victim complex arc, and thinking that they're somehow affected by universal mechanics more than everyone else. Now, for context, H and F Moon characters have an invincible shield counter follow-up that you can block if you double jump after they shield you, allowing you to avoid their counterattack. This is a pretty universal maneuver, and almost everyone can do it, with the exception of a very few characters like PCL, H and F Koma, and C and F Satsuki. Kohaku is not a victim of this. She can avoid shield counters just like everyone else. This con is blatantly lying about the capabilities of Kohaku. And why? To what end? No one knows. Now, C-Moon shielding is a little bit different. If a C-Moon EX shields you, you're going to be in hit stop for such a long time that they can jab you out of the air no matter who your character is. But if they get a regular shield by missing the timing of their EX shield, they'll need to use a special attack to cancel out, and the opponent is free to jump away during that time. If you get EX shielded by a C-Moon, you're gonna be fucked regardless. This isn't something that Kohaku specifically is a victim of. Now, there are a couple of characters I can think of off the top of my head which can not only avoid regular shields from C-Moons and H-Moons, but flat out beat them using special moves they have in the air. Those characters would be H and F Roa and C Tono. Both of them have a move that is fully invincible and will actively beat shield follow-up attacks, making them uniquely scary to attempt to anti-air with a shield. Kohaku players are literally sitting around writing cons on her wiki page, mauling about the fact that their top-tier character who gets some of the best of almost everything in the game that she does well doesn't get a unique move that 2 mid-tier characters have. I guess having some of the highest damage in the game, some of the best normals in the game, and incredible Oki wasn't enough for her. Kohaku players apparently need even more tools than they already have if they're expected to stand a chance against those scary mid-tiers like C Tono and F Roa. This was a really stupid con, but it wasn't until 7 months later, December 2023, where things were changed again. A second con hit the Kohaku page. Actually, 3 new cons: Footsies matchups, EX guards, and Cactus counterplay. Not only were these 3 cons all, again, complaining about Kohaku being a victim of universal game mechanics, but these were some of the dumbest cons yet. First of all, footsies matchups? Kohaku infamously has some of the deadliest footsies in the entire game. Having a hard time with a footsies matchup for Kohaku generally means it's actually just a 5-5 matchup. Kohaku players are so used to having such a big advantage in the footsies game that they think even matchups are bad matchups for them, and it apparently warrants a con. They then list characters like PCL as a problem character. Listen, I'm not a big fan of PCL myself, but let's not kid ourselves here. Kohaku is more than capable than most of the cast when it comes to playing footsies with PCL. Kohaku versus Satsuki? Sure, Satsuki has some pretty infamous buttons for how much space they cover, for how fast they come out, but Satsuki's 2C is pretty damn susceptible to being jumped over or instant air dashed right over, and that's notably the move that people complain about when having to fight against Satsuki. Kohaku has more than good enough tools to go toe-to-toe with Satsuki. Reese? Okay, yeah, I'll give you credit there. Reese has some big-ass normals and some really good forward-moving specials. I guess Kohaku has trouble with Reese, but so does literally everyone else who has to play footsies with her. Nanaya, Tono, Miyako, CL, you fucking name it, they must be trying to escape fucking Alcatraz in that matchup. And the last character mentioned, Arcuid. Arcuid, the character whose most notable con, despite all of her upsides, is that her normals are kinda short and she can be outclassed in the neutral game by characters with normals more suited to playing neutral than hers. Yeah, alright, the footsies matchup, I think we've determined is a skill issue, not a con. Next is the EX guard con that we all know about already. Kohaku players think that people blocking her normals is a downside that I guess no one else has to deal with. You know, pretty typical Kohaku player mindset at this point. And finally, Cactus Counterplay. Cactus is a projectile okizeme that Kohaku has, which is generally considered some of the best projectile oki in the entire game. It locks players down and gives Kohaku free reign to just get free mix-ups back to back while it's active. Projectile oki pretty universally will lose to one thing in Melty Blood though, the universal mechanic, Shield Bunker. Shield Bunkers will clash with projectile oki while in block stun, then use an attack to power through and hit the enemy player. However, if the enemy fakes committing to a mix-up and baits the shield bunker, the user of the bunker will be left wide open to attack. Using a bunker to beat projectile oki is a really universal maneuver in Melty Blood that every single character in Melty Blood with projectile oki has to take into account. This is not a con for Kohaku, and it's extremely laughable to try to pretend that it is, since Cactus is one of the best examples of oppressive projectile oki in the entire game. Later in that December of 2023, the con about the bad footsies matchup was removed, since it was too stupid to be believable. But to compensate for this, the Kohaku players expanded the descriptions of the other two cons to desperately try and convince people reading it that she definitely is the victim of universal mechanics that everyone deals with. And the cons remained like this, until about 6 months later in June 2024, where the unthinkable happened. There was an attack on Kohaku Wiki soil. Someone had removed the two absurdly terrible cons that everyone had been laughing at for the last 6 months and replaced it with an older, more reasonable, no reversal con. This, however, would not go unanswered by the Knights of Clan Kohaku. Every single change made by reasonable people to the Kohaku Wiki page was instantly reverted by the... how can we say this in a politically correct manner? Kohaku players. This continued for all of the month of July until finally someone put their foot down to end this month of grueling battle. A compromise was issued, historically known as the 3/5 Compromise. This compromise stated that all future opinions of Kohaku players would only count as 3/5 of an opinion, but in return, they were allowed to keep one con on their wiki page of their choice. The con they chose to keep was the one about EX guarding. From this point on, there was peace in the land of the Kohaku Wiki. Everything seemed to be going fine. Until the December 15th attack of 2024. And that's where our story begins today. So recently I made a video making fun of some of the Melty Blood Wiki pros and cons sections, and it surprisingly got a lot more views than I thought it would, which is cool, But in hindsight now, I'm a little bit annoyed that I rushed that video out just to try to get something done, because there's a few points I make in it that, looking back on it, I don't entirely agree with anymore. Notably, the comment that you could combine Nero's con about bad defensive options and his con about bad options out of shield. The more I think about it, I think there's value in distinguishing the difference between defensive capabilities of a character's unique moves and the defensive capabilities of the character themselves when relying on universal mechanics such as shield. C-Moon characters don't have an invincible shield counter follow-up, so they are inherently reliant on their specials working in tandem with their shield, and if they don't have a fast move or a good move to use as a reversal to follow up with, then they rely heavily on landing EX shields, which, let's be honest, is not gonna be consistent. Like, the window's even smaller than an H-mood shield window. Of the people who disagreed with my points or had some of the intended humor go right over their head, the parts they were annoyed by weren't within my 15-minute PCL rant or my 8-minute rant about Nero. It was actually the brief part at the very start where I talked about Kohaku. Some people really took issue with the fact that I claimed saying C-Kohaku had no reversals was blatantly false. So I want to make it clear. My point in criticizing the Kohaku page wasn't to claim that she actually has good defensive options in reversals, since frankly her reversals are kinda crap, but rather to point out that saying she doesn't have one at all is false. Unfortunately, some geniuses didn't quite understand this, and somehow their takeaway was that I was saying her 236C was a good reversal. Despite the fact that I pointed out it's not even full invul, showed it blatantly losing, and then saying something like, oh, this being her best move to use as a reversal really hinders her defensive game, I guess after all that, I was actually saying it's a good reversal. So let's look at some comments from some people who had the point I was making go so far over their head that I can't tell if I'm being baited or if they're actually just that clueless. There's no way you argue that C-Koha's 236C is a decent semi-reversal. You could have at least mentioned heat so it would seem reasonable. Okay, number one, I don't think the term reversal means what you think it means, because what the actual fuck is a semi-reversal? I'll try to decipher your moron vocabulary and assume that you're using the term reversal to mean DP, or rather invincible move, which has good application as a reversal. And I assume you're saying semi because it doesn't have invulnerability all the way through to the active frames. All of that being said, yeah, I do consider it to have application as a reversal, especially in cases where universal mechanics either won't do shit for you or it would be riskier to use them instead of just throwing that out. And about the second part, yeah, I could have mentioned heat, but here's the thing. Every single C-Moon character can use heat. So I assumed that the cons list for Kohaku, located on the Kohaku page, would be detailing information that is pertinent to Kohaku, by referencing the moves unique to Kohaku. It's a given that all C-Moons can heat, but it's not a given that every C-Moon has a unique ability that makes for a good reversal. So I felt it was pertinent to point out that she actually does indeed have a move with some use as a reversal. A risky, not great move, which requires you to use your brain to think carefully about when the right time to use it is, but it can be used as a reversal. No way you argue it's decent, like as if it has literally zero use case. Here, let's outline a situation in which it's actually a perfectly decent option. Oh no, I'm being pressured by CV Scion. Oh, I'll just mash to get out of the gaps with my A buttons. I'll try my command grab. Because command grabs and Melty can grab extended hurt boxes, this will actually beat a very surprising amount of mid-range staggered pressure, assuming the gaps are big enough. Okay, alright, I'll just jump. Well, okay then, I guess I have no choice. Time to resort to my universal, fully invincible reversal, the Kohaku Heat! What? No! How did that fail? I knew it, CV Scion is overpowered. I just have to sit here and take this unbeatable pressure, I guess, huh? Heat won't always save you. It becomes a much less consistent option once people get to a mid-range, because once someone is outside your heat's range, your heat hitting them is reliant on it hitting their extended hurt boxes. With the generally long startup of a heat, it's not uncommon for someone to just whiff their move through your startup invul frames, recover, and then kill you. Sure, heat works great when someone is instant air dashing at you or they're really close to you on a wake up, but those aren't the only scenarios where you need to consider all of your reversal options. In a scenario where you're having mid-range staggered pressure applied to you, having a move with enough invincibility to power through an average B button's active frames is actually a valuable tool, and it blows my mind that so many people act like it's so wildly unviable that it should just never be used.
Actually, Gibbons, I would have just shielded.
Oh, okay, we got a smartass over here. Alright, you got me. You figured me out. It really was that easy to dismantle my argument. Ah, shit. Yeah, you can just shield everything, and I'll lose every time. For real, though, let's think about this. That string is just one of many done in a vacuum. In an actual game of Melty, the ability to make your pressure ambiguous or overload someone's mental stack with all of the things you can do when you get in is powerful. I can just stagger A buttons. I could reset with my 2B since it's +1 and just do 2B again. I can rebeat at any time to try to bait a reaction from you to jump or press a button. I can IAD you. I can sit real close and just use my 236B to be +5, repeat that again, and then try to condition you to want to shield it so I can bait your shield and then kill you. But okay. You would just shield. Shield is a very powerful tool, a very powerful universal mechanic. So let's do a thought exercise. Let's swap to F-Aoko for this. So I start pressure, and I put myself here in this situation. You have decided this is where you want to make your stand. You know a normal is coming, so you want to shield it. If you EX shield, you'll mash out, and if it's a normal shield, you'll use your 236A. I think everyone agrees that this move will be risky. Everything you do carries some kind of inherent risk. In this case, we're assuming you know I'm going to use another normal afterwards. This means that your chance of success here is 50%. Because I could 5B you, or I could 2B you. I propose an alternative to this situation, 236C. You've decided this is where you'll make your stand, and you know the normal is coming. Why are you gambling with 50-50s when you could just use a move that would go through both the 5B and the 2B? Yes, this is an idealistic situation, I suppose, since from this position there are so many options I have which beat or lose to shield, and would beat or lose to 236C. But why are we not even considering all of our options here? Like, why am I the crazy person for saying that this move could be used effectively in some scenarios as a reversal instead of just dismissing it entirely because it's bad? You know, dismissing to the point where I unironically claim that she has no reversal. And you know what just struck me just now? This move is actually a hit grab. To those who don't know, a hit grab is just a move with strike property, but when you hit somebody with it, it goes into an invincible animation. Because this move is a hit grab, that actually means that it can go through certain setups designed to come out on a delayed timer in order to beat people who DP. This move literally beats certain setups that some of the best DPs in the game lose to. But yeah, no, it's a bad move, right? You know there are some characters who literally don't even get this option at all, right? Like, Len's best move to use as a reversal only has 4 frames of invul. It's so bad you could argue that Len doesn't even have a good move to use as a reversal at all. This literally isn't an option for her. But yeah, no, you're right. Kohaku's got no reversal. This move, fucking useless. I think there's a very interesting discussion to be had about characters' movesets and where you can use those moves to analyze scenarios you might find yourself in-game, and think about what options you have to minimize the risk to yourself, even if only a little, while still retaliating to remain threatening. But hey, maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just the mindset that I've had to develop to play some of the characters that I do. When you play CV Scion, you need to think like this, about where you can use every tool you're given, because outside of that, you're not given much. You only get like 2.4k off of your meterless confirms that go into Oki. Oki that half the cast can just DP through or trade favorably with, yet is an essential part of your game plan. Or you can go for an air series, get like 3.4k and end in an air throw that in the mid-screen does nothing for you but reset neutral on a character who notoriously does not want to be there. You need to wring every last drop you can from the moveset you're given, because if you don't, you will lose. And I'm not special for having a mindset like this. I'm not unique. This game has 93 fucking characters. You think CV Scion is the only one with problems? How do you think C Ryugi feels? Fucking H Miyako, F White Len, the V Akihas who aren't F. But when this kind of mindset is applied to a character like Kohaku, the response is wild disbelief that I would even consider a move that wasn't completely invincible to be usable as a reversal. Not even just this one comment I'm ragging on. I've had multiple people in other places tell me how ridiculous they think it is for me to need to even consider Kohaku's 236C in any way outside of just combos. Like, how fucking wildly privileged does your character have to be to think like this? Imagine playing a character so incredibly pampered that you get some of the best normals in the game, best damage in the game, great pressure, a command grab, some of the most threatening Oki in the game, which gives you like 3 mix-ups in a row. Imagine playing a character so rotten that when you look at your unique defensive options, just because they're not some of the best in the entire game, like everything else in your kit, you literally can't even fathom a use case for it. What a spoiled, pretentious mindset. Yes, here is the reversal you ordered, sir.
Can I get this in a doggy bag? I won't even consider using a move that's not entirely invincible until the active frames.
Hey there, peanut butter fans. Tonight I'm going to be showing you how to make and enjoy a peanut butter sandwich. You know, if you wanted to be really pedantic, you could point out that in my last example with Aoko, a shield bunker would have also worked there. And you'd be right, it totally would. This is what's so hard about trying to point out the use cases for a move like Kohaku's 236C in a game like Melty Blood. Melty Blood has such a wide variety of robust defensive options for so many scenarios, it's not often that there's just going to be one solution to a problem, and if someone wanted to be Captain Hindsight, they could always play corner case Jeopardy with you and point out how your option for escaping something is worse than another equally viable option. I feel like I've not done a bad job showcasing scenarios in which Kohaku's 236C can be used effectively to help her out of scenarios where you'd otherwise feel helpless or you'd be taking bigger risks against all the different offensive options people have, but despite that, there will still be people who refuse to acknowledge the viability of this move as a reversal option, and there's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. That's what makes Melty Blood one of the greatest fighting games ever made. The freedom of options the game gives you is completely unparalleled. You don't get a double jump or an air dash like most air dashing fighting games. You get a double jump and an air dash. You can super jump, super double jump, jump in any direction at any time, drift slightly when jumping to fine-tune your movement in the air to an insane degree. Moving around in Melty is like a boxer bobbing and weaving, never sitting still to be an easy target to hit, utilizing all of the ways you can fine-tune your movement both in the air and on the ground. Similarly to how 3D fighting games employ movement on its third axis that 2D games don't give you, Melty Blood is a 2D game that employs air movement so seamlessly with its grounded movement that it's like having an entirely different axis that no other 2D game has. Melty Blood has the most three-dimensional movement of any 2D fighting game I have ever played. And once you go on the offensive, it doesn't stop there. Rebeating gives you access to any normal at any point in time, and special moves can be cancelled from almost any normal. EX specials can be cancelled from specials, oftentimes even on whiff, and every special move has 3 different versions, giving them application in neutral, pressure, and as combo tools. A buttons are cancelable on whiff, adding a layer to the wake-up game in the neutral Okiwaza game, which separates metered and meterless reversals from one another, giving a layer of fine-tuning to exactly how defensive the director wants characters to be able to be without completely removing their ability to defend themselves. These things lead to one of the most free-flowing and ambiguous pressure games possible in any fighting game I've ever played, and while that might make offense sound like it's some unreactable, unwinnable bullshit, it's not, because blocking is incredibly strong, and the sheer amount of defensive options you have access to can make people just as scary on defense as they are on offense. EX guarding, shielding, shield counters, bunkering, spot dodging, backdashing, heating, bursting, fuck it, you can even shield while you're in the air and do follow-up counters while you're up there. Did I forget to mention air throws? Yeah, Melty has those as well, and not only are they core parts of most of the character's basic combos and air confirms, but done raw, they give you a full combo afterwards, allowing them to be used both offensively and defensively as callouts to someone's movement, while also layering your air game because they can be used to trap people in airborne block strings. And don't even get me started on the 3 different moon types each character has, which substantially changes how they interact with the universal mechanics, grants them unique mechanics depending on the moon, and changes the character's movesets. Some characters become entirely different archetypes on every different moon. There's never a point in time in Melty Blood on the ground or in the air where you don't have an option. This makes it incredibly frustrating to argue your in-game philosophy, since Captain Hindsight can always show up and point out how there indeed was something you could have done, because there always is. But that's also what makes Melty Blood so fantastic. Melty Blood is the antithesis to the modern fighting game. There are no comeback mechanics, and it's unapologetically complex, while still being approachable for new players without sacrificing any of that complexity. It's not about putting a square peg in a square hole. A lot of modern fighting games can feel like puzzles, but Melty Blood feels like a problem. To me, the difference between a puzzle and a problem is that a puzzle really only has one way to solve it. It's designed to be solved, and once you figure out the solution, you'll always know how to solve that puzzle. But a problem can't necessarily be solved at all, and when it can be solved in many different ways. Some ways may be more optimal than others, but at a certain point, no way is an objectively better solution than another as long as the problem gets solved. Melty Blood isn't a puzzle game, it's a problem-solving game about solving complex problems and creating complex problems for other people to solve, and you will never fully solve Melty Blood. And despite all of the great things I have to say about it, it's not perfect. It has its fair share of overtuned characters, outright broken ones, and it's got some pretty whack mechanics that I think I could live without. But the people who play it love it despite all that, because what it does well far outweighs where it makes mistakes. On top of all of that, the beautiful sprite work, the fluid animation which brings every character to life as they move, stand, and fight in a way entirely unique to them. You can get a feel for a character's personality just by how they move and attack. Even if a sprite was completely blacked out, and all you had to go on was a silhouette, you would still be able to know which character you're looking at, and in action, you would probably be able to tell which moon type it is. The stages to fight on are not only numerous, but fantastic in their themes and diversity. They're wonderfully animated without those animations becoming distracting, but they're also brilliantly realized environments even when the stage animations are turned off. The stages don't just feel like backdrops that you're playing a game in, but rather a real environment that the characters exist in. I know that not many people will make arguments about the immersive quality of fighting games, but when it feels as if the character you control truly exists in that environment and you're controlling them in it, and it's not just a sprite on top of a colored backdrop, it really, really does go a long way. Top all that off with one of the most brilliant soundtracks I've ever heard in a fighting game. Songs aren't just action music to fight to, they're composed to fit the environment you're in. They could be groovy. Mysterious. Upbeat. Somber. Climactic. Bustling. Unsettling. Classy. They're not always songs you would expect to hear in a fighting game, but they all fit so well because of the attention to detail put into the environment. The music wasn't designed to be a generic soundtrack. Every stage tells a story. It's a set piece that you're not allowed to mix and match the music for because of how intentionally designed the atmosphere of every stage is. There will never be another game like Melty Blood. It's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be. The game is full of perfect imperfections that give it so much personality. Games like this are doomed to not be liked by all, but truly loved by a few. To be honest, I don't really enjoy writing videos about negative topics, like making fun of Wiki sections that people worked on, or getting hyperbolically mad at silly YouTube comments that don't really bother me. I really enjoy making stuff about the things I do like and I want to share with people. If I have a platform where people will listen to me, I would rather do what I can to talk about the things I love. That kind of stuff doesn't really get views though. I already wrote this whole video, and this section in the middle about how much I enjoy Melty Blood was an impulsive addition that I made while I was editing it. So I'll finish the video off since I did put the time into writing it. But yeah, that's why no matter how good my argument is, I'll never be able to truly convince everybody that C-Kohaku 236C, while it's not a great reversal, really isn't that bad of a reversal either. And then of course your milk, because you can't enjoy a peanut butter sandwich properly without a glass of milk. Also, please read correctly the EX guard section. It mentions command grab in 4B because they are low-range important tools that are easily punishable. Easily punishable? Kohaku's command grab and her 4B? Yeah, okay, FPCL. Do Kohaku players actually think that their command grab is an easily punishable move? Like, it's only punishable if you whiff it. It's a throw. Classic whiff throw on purpose into pop orb. That's like my ultimate move. He's pulling my ultimate move out this early? Ha! He must be getting desperate. Are you telling on yourself right now? Do you unironically miss your command grab so frequently that you consider it an easily punishable move? And instead of thinking, oh, maybe I should stop trying to use this in this scenario, you go, oh my god, EX blocking really sucks for Kohaku. No one else has to deal with this. Hey, guess what, Kohaku players? Everyone has a throw, and everyone can miss their throw. If your command grab gets jumped and punished, that wasn't the fault of EX guard. And if you are regularly missing command grabs, that's a skill issue. Oh, I wonder if we should put on Koma's page that EX guard affects him more than others as well, because Koma's got a lot of recovery on his command grab, more than you've got on yours. Are Kohaku players seriously in a position where they're given a command grab, something that very few characters in this game actually get, and then they're trying to tell people that EX Guard affects her more than others because her fucking universal throw on steroids misses when she fucks up? Holy shit! You physically can only punish a command grab if it whiffs. That is 100% a skill issue. This is not a Kohaku problem. This is a you problem. And then her 4B, a close range, easy to punish tool. Oh, well, let's see that range. All right. I mean, it's not the longest normal, but it's really not that uncommon for characters to have B buttons with closer range meant for pressure more so than neutral. So it's honestly not exceptionally short at all, especially when you compare it to something like C-Scion's 5B. You can even push outside of your A button range and still hit with this button. But hey, maybe it's got a lot of recovery. Let's look at that frame data. What? This move? Easy to punish? Motherfucker, the total frames of this move are 21. Some of the game's hardest to block overheads have more frames than that. No fucking way anyone is punishing this shit on reaction to it whiffing. No fucking way in hell. On top of that, it's 0 on block. This is a fucking F-Moon normal. It's also a standing low. Like, are you kidding me? C-Scion's 5B has less range, worse frame data, and she doesn't have any command normals to supplement it with, meaning that in pressure, once she's outside of her A button's range, she's a lot more limited with the suite of effective normals that she has access to. But Kohaku not only gets an entire suite of regular normals that she can use in pressure, but then she gets that fucking F-Moon normal stapled onto her moveset. I've never once heard a Scion player complain about EX Guard despite having shorter normals, less normals to use effectively in pressure, and none of them with frame data nearly this good. Now, Scion does have something that Kohaku doesn't, and that's her gunshot pressure, which is a really powerful tool for close range, which supplements Scion's more limited suite of normals that she is able to use in pressure. The point I'm trying to make here isn't that you have more of something than someone else, and that's objectively better. Kohaku pressures differently from Scion, so it's natural that Kohaku would have normals to apply the type of pressure that she uniquely applies. The point I'm trying to make is that you look like an ST Wagner player sitting here trying to downplay this move because one of the best C-Moon normals in the entire game wasn't the best normal in the entire game. But Kohaku players are going to try to defend her being more affected by EX Guard because they claim it makes the move whiff, and then they claim it's easy to punish? Yeah, alright, show of hands, who regularly punishes this move? Oh, look, there's no hands up. If you're getting punished for using this move enough that you think it's easy to punish, it is almost 100% because you're regularly using the exact same string on autopilot. Clearly a shitty string in the first place if your moves are whiffing just by getting EX guarded, and then when you get punished because you have literally 0 ambiguity in your pressure, you're going, oh wow, this move is easy to miss and way easy to punish. You're telling on yourself right now. You're literally telling everyone how much you fucking suck and how little self-reflection you have that you miss this move and unironically think that means that EX Guard is worth listing as a con for Kohaku. Like, holy fucking shit. CV Scion has a move similar to this, actually, her 5B, but it has even less range and worse frame data. Of all the times I've used 5B and it's happened to miss, I've never once thought of it as an easy to punish tool just because it's easy to find yourself outside of its range quickly once you've started a pressure string. If I miss 5B, that's 100% a skill issue. I can't even fathom myself missing this and not thinking to myself, why did I do that? Or, shit, I fucked up. But I guess in the mind of a Kohaku player, anything that happens which negatively impacted them was some kind of system mechanic that specifically targets her, and she's more of a victim of it than anyone else who also deals with literally the exact same shit while using tools that aren't even as privileged as hers. Like, this guy has to be in elementary school or something. His brain is not fully developed. They're still at the point where they're incapable of perceiving the world from any perspective other than their own. And they're like, oh, hey, well, I keep whiffing all my shit, but no one else seems to be whiffing their shit. Yeah, alright, must be a negative trait of my character. It mentions it as a weakness to provide information about counterplay versus a top tier. Okay, alright, I'm losing energy here, man. You're some kind of like sinister warlock writing incantations that suck away at my fucking life the longer I have to look at them. Okay. EX Guard is not a counterplay versus top tiers. EX Guard is a universal mechanic everyone is always doing. If you are a C or an F moon, you should be EX guarding literally every single match. Not saving your EX guards for when you have to fight a top tier, alright? EX guarding is just the defensive standard for Melty Blood. It's not a counterplay. It just is. Saying that EX guard is a counterplay versus a top tier is like saying that blocking is a counterplay to top tiers, because now they can't hit you on wake up, or meeting is a counterplay to top tiers, because oh, now they can't wake up and press buttons. Everyone deals with EX guard. Everyone deals with players blocking. Everyone gets meeting. You're not counterplaying shit. You're just playing the game. Kohaku doesn't get countered by someone just playing the game. That's fucking insane. You wanna know something? That guy wasn't the only one who thought my take on the Kohaku section was a bad take. Yeah, I got way more shit about like the fucking 2-minute Kohaku section than I did about all the shit I said about PCL and Nero.
A reason it says no reversal instead of bad defense. Her defense isn't bad.
Alright, stunning opener. Alright, he's got the setup nailed. Let's see the punchline.
She has one of the best 2A mashes in the game, and her 2B and 2C are both pretty strong in many scenarios.
Oh, okay, yeah, so that's all you need to have good defense, huh? Oh, well shit, now that you mention it, F-Mech is looking pretty good. Look at those normals, her defense is looking pretty amazing. Ooh, F-Mech must have a really good defense, right guys? Right? F-Mech's got pretty good defense, guys, right? I sure love being on defense as F-Mech. I really feel like I have a lot of options when I play F-Mech on defense because of her buttons. Alright now, I don't want to be too mean to this guy. Alright, yeah I do. Listen here. You'll eventually get to a point where there is much more to defense than just pressing the right button at the right time to mash out with. Just having good normals doesn't mean you're inherently good on defense, and what generally differentiates characters being good or bad on defense is how their unique abilities complement the universal mechanics that allow them to excel where other characters would not. C-Kohaku does have insane buttons, and she can mash out like a champ, but when comparing C-Kohaku to other C-Moon characters, her defense is not great, since all she has to her name are the universal mechanics, and her best unique move as a reversal is really not ideal. She also really doesn't have very good options out of a non-EX shield, which is clearly a problem that characters with good defense run into, right? Like, I thought I was being helpful by providing a legitimate con for the Kohaku Wiki, since they clearly have such a hard time finding downsides for their character. You know, they think EX guarding is worse for her. They think apparently she's incapable of doing reversals. Like, I was handing that shit to them on a silver platter. Here you go, Kohaku players. Here you go, eat up. I made this for you. Her defense is weaker than average. You can use this as a con. And then they slap it away from me. No, her defense is good. It's great, actually. She has one of the best 2As in the whole fucking game. How could her defense be bad, huh? Wait, no, there's a gap there. I have a good 2A. I'm okay, no problem. It's just a frame trap. I'll use my universal invincible reversal. Universal mechanics affect Kohaku more than everyone else, so this should work. What? No, this doesn't make sense. How am I losing here? There's no way. I don't have a move for this. What? No, I can't use that move. That move is bad. It's really bad. My character has good defense. I don't need that move. That move would never work. Oh god. Oh god. I'm gonna be sick. Why did that work? Oh god. Now he's jumping at me? Oh, it's no problem. It's no problem. I'm a C-Moon character. I got C-Moon mechanics. C-Moon mechanics are overpowered. Yeah, I'll just shield it. Wait, what if I do if I didn't get an EX shield? No, I have options for this. I have to have options for this. My character has good defense. No, the Wiki's always right. The Wiki has never led me astray. The Wiki only has factual information on it. There's nothing wrong on the Wiki. Nothing there is incorrect. Okay? Alright, so why? Why doesn't it work then? Why? If the Wiki's right, why won't you do it? I'm talking to you, Satsuki players. Why won't you do it? Why won't you use your 62314C on Wake Up? It's a reversal. It's a fully invincible reversal. It hits on frame 3. How do I know that? Well, just look at the Wiki. Look at the Wiki, Satsuki players. It's right there. It says it right there. Hit me with it. Come on, Satsuki players. Hit me with your Wake Up reversal command grab. It's fully invincible. Why don't you believe me? Come on, do it. Do it. You only got counter hit because you fucked it up. Do it right this time. Satsuki players, okay? Alright? Stop fucking with me. Do it. Hit me with your invincible Wake Up reversal command grab, Satsuki players. Don't try to tell me it doesn't work. I know it works. I know it works! The wiki says it works! It's on the wiki! The wiki says it's invincible! Stop telling me the wiki's not right! Ah! You arguing in favor of it, or saying that it should simply be that her defense is lacking are both bad assertions. What the fuck? I wasn't arguing in favor of it. I said it exists and that it's her best unique move to use as a reversal. Like, I clearly stated that it doesn't even have full invul, and I showed it losing to a fucking meaty. What was I arguing in favor of? And then saying that her defense is a bad assertion? Yeah, okay, buddy, settle down. You're trying to trigger my PTSD again. No true reversals gets across an objective fact. Well, wait a minute. Wait. No true reversal? What the fuck is a true reversal? Like, I look at my friend and go, oh, I'm gonna throw you on wake up, and then I do it, and he's like, oh, you got me. You said you'd do it, and you did it. Yep, that was a true reversal. You did what you said you were gonna do. It was true. Like, you realize that a reversal is just any attack or maneuver used immediately after wake up, or immediately when exiting block stun, right? Like, anything can be used as a reversal. How does she have no true reversal? The fuck does that even mean? So, okay, I'll stop being, like, willfully ignorant for a moment. I know that many people use the word reversal interchangeably with invincible move or DP, and while a lot of people do that, it doesn't mean they're not fucking wrong. So we'll have a little lesson later about reversals. For now though, let's use your vernacular. I imagine when you say no true reversal, what you mean to say is she has no invincible move that isn't invincible all the way until active frames. However, you also brought up earlier that you think she has system mechanics that are superior to her 236C, one of them being heat, which would be, in your terms, a true reversal. So in what world is her having no true reversals an objective fact? Like, what, do you live on Stupid Street? Right down the block from Bonehead Boulevard and Dipshit Drive? Bad defense is much more downplaying than trying to pretend 236C is slightly worse than it is or whatever. Fucking hell. Well, I don't want to be a Kohaku downplayer. I think everyone agrees that the EX Guard con was dumb, and the saying she has no reversals is straight up false. So we're down to 0 cons. If she doesn't even have bad defense, I don't know what the fuck she's bad at. You got me, Kohaku players. She's literally got no downsides. Anything on the cons page at all would have actually been absurd. I tried to give you guys the lacking defense one and you don't want it. Hey, that's fine. That's fine. More cons for me on my character pages, I guess.
Well, this is cool. I can't do anything. I can't go anywhere. Great.
Uh-oh, alert update. It looks like while I was writing this video, the exceptional individual made another comment in reply to his first one. Honestly, after reading it, yeah, I'm a little bit let down. The second comment is just as stupid as the first one, but I don't even have the energy to make fun of it, because at this point, I'm pretty sure it's bait. Like, judging by what this comment says, I don't even think this guy watched the video. Saying things like why Nero's cons are important and shouldn't be removed, implying that I ever said they should be removed. It's just wild to me. Like, I gave the Nero page a good score and literally conceded that nothing said on his page was untrue, and that if any top tier was going to have many cons, it would be Nero, because of his unique playstyle and circumstances. How, after me saying all of that, is the message they got that I want his cons removed because I think he's a top tier? Just fucking, like, I don't know. I said Kohaku's con should be changed because it was blatantly false, and the PCL one should be changed because it was misleading and can give an incorrect impression of the character. But for the Nero cons, I just chat shit and then begrudgingly admit that they weren't even bad cons. Like, someone can't be this fucking dumb, so I'm just gonna have to assume I got baited. And that kind of takes the wind out of my sails. I can't even muster the energy to write a hyperbolic meltdown about this one. I do like the part where he implies that I think the Nero page should be trying to convince people he's top tier rather than convey actual character information. I don't know how me ranting about a character I personally dislike and then admitting his cons are actually pretty legitimate translates to me thinking his cons should be removed and I'm trying to convince people he's top 3. I also like the part where he justifies using the term abare. I didn't even say it should be removed. I just made a joke that people who say it are trying to sound smart, since most people call throwing a button out in a gap just mashing. Mashing has an inherently negative connotation, I guess, because it sounds like a dumb monkey tactic to just mash a button, but mashing is a legitimate option. It's how you punish people who overcommit because they think you're going to respect their pressure. There's nothing wrong with mashing. It only becomes a problem when you do it too much. Then you're just a moron who keeps getting hit because you won't stop with your low IQ abare. I will keep in mind, though, that while anyone can slam 2A and guess right, Nero has to be more careful outside of that range. Yeah, he definitely doesn't have any good buttons to press when someone's outside of his two-way range. Nope, no good mid-range Abare options here. I do want to make it clear that just because I talk shit about Nero, that doesn't mean I have any ill will towards Nero players. Hate the game, not the player, and I hate Nero, not Nero players. Even if his cons were perfect, and there was no material for me to be hyperbolically pedantic over, believe me, I would have come up with something to bitch about. Like, how can I explain this in a way that people will understand? I know, people love anime, so it's kind of like Steins Gate. You know how Steins Gate has themes of fatalism, with there always being some constants between timelines no matter what you do, and the only way to get around that is to find a timeline with enough divergence from your original world that the timelines within that divergence have completely different constants? Yeah, that's basically what's happening here. No matter what form of media it is, or what activity I participate in, I will always find a way to talk shit about Nero. Me talking shit about Nero is the constant. You throw an SPB at me in Ring Racers and I'll sit there and be like, oh, fuck it, here comes Nero's EX Deer. You think I enjoy that? Having this character live in my head rent-free like this? I don't enjoy this at all. My life is hell. I want to kill myself.
Walking into the places, I see a bullet. It's coming for him. Mr. President, get down! I gotta save him. He's in big trouble. He's the President of the United States of America.
On the topic of comments, I also want to address one comment I actually appreciate. Not to say that I don't appreciate all the comments I get, because I do, but this one called me out for doing something that I actually call others out on, because I myself hate it, so I want to comment on it. There was a part in the video where I said that hard combos aren't really a con unless your character's essential combos are so wildly difficult that even the best players can't consistently pull them off, and when I did this, I show a picture of Guilty Gear Exerd Johnny on screen. Now, I've been made aware that this was a very tell me you don't play Exerd without telling me you don't play Exerd moment from me. Sure, Johnny has some hard stuff, but so do many other characters in Exerd. So from what I've heard, his execution is kind of a meme that his players perpetuate, and I wasn't informed enough to not fall for the meme. I really hate it when I read like KOF discourse, and 80% of it is the most tell me you don't play KOF without telling me you don't play KOF level bullshit. So many people have done the KOF 13 combo trials, and now they talk about KOF as if they have any fucking idea what they're doing or how to play it, and frankly, those fuckers are really easy to spot, and it drives me crazy. Same shit happens with like Quake. I actually play Quake regularly, so when I see dumbasses online saying shit about Quake 3, that makes it really clear all they've done is play a little bit of Quake Live, and they don't realize that Live and 3 are different enough to suss out people who haven't played one or the other, yet want to pretend they have. That drives me fucking mad. And now here I am, doing the exact same shit, but with Guilty Gear. I guess this is just proof that even an example of the ultimate life form like myself is susceptible to looking a fool, and I appreciate being called out on it so I can do better not to say stuff like that in the future. So damn, I got baited by a stupid comment, and I implied something stupid in my currently most viewed video. That's 2 Gibbons L's in one day. Can we get a Gibbons W? Yeah, actually. Wanna know something kind of funny? They literally changed the C-Kohaku Wiki page the day my video was uploaded. I truly am the unmoved mover of the Melty Blood community. And looking at the page now, I have far less issues with it. They removed the con about EX Guard entirely, and they replaced the no reversals con with an unreliable reversal options con. Which is objectively true, I like that con. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to be a bit of an asshole again, but hey, listen, hear me out on this. I think the new description for this con is an overcorrection of the old con. The new con says she has 2 reversals, one of which being her arc drive. Literally nobody counts the arc drive as a reversal when talking about reversals. It can technically be used effectively as a reversal, but nobody out there is gonna say something like, oh, Len doesn't have bad reversals because she has an arc drive. So mentioning the arc drive to say that Kohaku has 2 reversals after coming off of initially saying she has none feels a bit like a spiteful overcorrection. Alright, this is editing Givens here, so I've got my video all done, right? I have it all rendered, and I'm about to start uploading it, but I give it a watch first to make sure it's not super fucked up and that it's fine. And I noticed something about it though when I'm watching it. See, in the video, I'm about to make a joke right here about how if the Kohaku wiki was gonna overcorrect and say that basically everything with Invul is a reversal, they should have added the Kohaku Magic Missile, because that move has a bunch of only strike Invul, but a bunch of it. And I just realized something. When reading the con section 214C, it says her 2 reversal options are 214C and her arc drive. You know that move I've been advocating for as a not even awful reversal, the 236C? Yeah, For some reason, my brain was processing 214C is 2360 this whole time. So I thought this con was saying that her Bato and the arc drive were the reversals. And I'm about to make a joke about how you should have added the magical Kohaku missile, you know, as a joke, because it's such an awful, awful reversal option. But it technically has invul. That was the joke. Not even realizing that's actually what they did. They actually did that. I guess I'm fucking illiterate for reading 236 when it says 214. But like, how fucking stupid are you, Kohaku players? Like, you know the saying, don't attribute to malice what can be explained by stupidity. I can't tell if you guys are malicious or stupid, but probably both. Because this already feels really passive-aggressive, like, oh, 2 true reversal options. You kept the arc drive, really? Who the fuck counts the arc drive? No one counts the fucking arc drive as a reversal. But then number 2, to say 214C is a true reversal. Oh, really? A true reversal? Motherfucker, it doesn't even have full invul. It has strike invul. You can just air throw it. It's not a reversal. It's a null check. This is an awful reversal. Fucking mashing 2A would be a better reversal than this, most likely, because sometimes you might trade with someone and get your 5k Kohaku 2A confirmed damage. Because that's what your character can fucking do. So, of everything you added to the reverse, to the cons as a reversal, you know, the arc drive's a reversal, oh, the magic Kohaku missile's a reversal, you didn't add the one move that has actual full invul as a fucking reversal. So I have to assume that you're malicious. You know, don't attribute to malice what can be explained by stupidity. I have to assume that you guys are malicious, because not only did you change the cons page to be wildly passive-aggressive by counting the arc drive as a reversal, and then you call it a true like, what the fuck is that? A true reversal? You fucking retards. But then you use 214C. But okay, so 214C is not even true. It's not even a true reversal. It's not even full invul. It's only strike invul. How fucking dumb are you people? You have to just be fucking with me at this point.
So it is true. If you don't make good, I'm gonna tell the police you.
Okay, we're even.
Honestly, if the Kohaku page was gonna overcorrect this hard, it should have just full commit to the bit and claimed that she actually has 3 reversals. What's the third one? Oh, don't tell me you forgot about Magical Amber Missile. On the wiki page, it's right under her true reversal, the Bato Hidden Sharp Sword. Oh, and look at all those strike invul frames. It's got strike invul all the way up until the first potential active frame. Surely this move must be a true reversal. Jokes aside, I do like this con. I think it's accurate. Not counting the universal mechanics like shielding, bunkering, and heat, I do think that Kohaku does not have a unique, reliable reversal option. But I am a bit critical of its description. If I were to edit it, I would keep the unreliable reversal options section, but maybe change the description to say something like, aside from heat, her only realistic reversal costs 100 meter and it's not invincible for the full startup, making it inconsistent to escape pressure with. Maybe someone who's a better wordsmith than me could make it a more concise statement while also still getting the same point across. You know, brevity is the soul of wit and all of that, and I know that I tend to ramble, so my description may leave something to be desired. There is one more reason I'm a bit critical of this description, though, and that's the use of the term true reversal. True reversal, semi-reversal. These are 2 terms that are just completely made up. There is no such thing as a true reversal or a semi-reversal. You either reversal or you don't. I don't understand what the fucking confusion is here. So because people don't seem to understand what a reversal is in the first place, and that's leading them to make up these stupid terms that in the context of the definition of a reversal make no sense, let's ask ourselves the question, what is a reversal?
It's okay. We're almost through. There you go.
Oh my god!
What? Alex, did you see that? I should have been this one, dude.